Hey everyone, do you have a website or service where your users input text, images, or even video, and you want to make sure that those items are family friendly or comply to your own rules? Well, Cognitive Services has a service for you, and that's the content moderation service. And in this video, I'm going to show some of the cool things that you can do with that using the Python client. Of course, the first thing you need to do is, I'm in my Azure portal here, is I need to create a new resource for the content moderation, and I'll just search for content, and content moderator is what we want. We need to enter a unique name here, so I do CM testing demo. And for pricing tier, they have a free version which only allows us for 1 call per second, and that's okay for demo and testing purposes. And I'll create this, and it doesn't take too long for the resource to create. There we go, it's created, so we'll go to the resource, and like the other Cognitive Services items, all we need here are the keys and endpoints here, and I'll leave this open for a bit. So I'm in Jupyter here, let's increase the size here, and what we want to do is first make sure we have the content moderation package installed. So I do pip install, I do -- upgrade, then Azure -cognitive services -vision -content moderator. There you go, that's installed. And I'm going to do a couple of imports here from Azure.cognitive services .vision .content moderator. I'm going to import content moderator client, and then from msrest.authentication I'll import cognitive services credentials, and then from pprint I'm going to import pprint, which is pretty print. So I'll do that. So I'll do that instead of the dir method that we did previously. Helps if I spell cognitive services correctly. And we're going to need that key as well as the endpoints that we get from our Azure portal here. So I'll go ahead and copy these. And since we have that, we can create our client using content moderator client. And the first parameter is going to be the endpoint. Second parameter is going to be the cognitive services credentials, and that's going to take in the key. And real quick, let's take a look at what all we have here. So we do image moderation, text moderation. We can manage our own image and term lists, and then we can send manual reviews as well. So let's go through a couple of them. So first we'll do text moderation, and let's see, I have some text files here. This first one, it says this food is crap. Second one is my address and phone number is such and such. So let's see what the text moderation service gives us here. So to read the file, I'll do it with open and pass in the file name, text moderation.txt, and I'll tell it how to read in the file here. And we'll tell Python to read in the file as binary format, which is what the RB is for there. Then we say as text file to give it as a variable. Then within that block, I do text moderation equals client, that text moderation, and then from there I can call screen text and pass in a few parameters here. First, I'm going to give the text content type. It's going to be text/plain. Next will be the text content, which I'll pass in that text file variable. Then the language I specify as English. Then I can say autocorrect, so that is true, and PII, which is personal identification information, so that is true as well. And with that, I can call a pretty print function and pass in text moderation.asDict for as dictionary. Let's run that. There we go, and here is the result here. And if you notice, we have autocorrected text. This food is crap. If you look at the original text, this food is crap. It has an extra O in the food, so it autocorrected food for us. And it identifies the address as a personal identification and the phone number as personal identification. And then it finds the term crap as a term for us to screen on. So it finds all these items for us, and we can take action on all of this for as we need to. All right, next I want to show how you can create your own terms for this screen text to look for. It might not be something like a curse word or anything like that. Maybe something specific to your application that you want to screen for. So to do that, we'll create a term list. I would say client.list management term lists, and I'll say create. I'll set the content type here as application JSON, and I'll give it the body as a dictionary. First it's going to be the name, and I'll say custom term list as the name, and description as custom term description. And I'll run this. This creates the list. Now that we have that list, we do client.list management term, and we say add term, and in here we need to give it a list ID, which we have from that term list. We call ID property on it, and give it a term that we want to look for. This term I'll look for shenanigans, and I'll set the language equals to English. There you go. So that's sent successfully. And just to make sure, we can call client.list management term, get all terms, pass in the list ID, term list.id, and the language is English. And we can pretty print that custom terms that as dictionary. There you go. So our term got added there, and we can. There's a few other things we can call here too to manage our terms. And we can delete all terms or a specific term as well. So now we have our terms. We're gonna look at another file here. It's a custom terms. It says this movie has a lot of shenanigans. Sounds like a good movie to me. I'm gonna say with open the file name custom text.txt. Read as in binary. Set it as custom text, and screen text equals client that text moderation that screen text. It's going to be the same as what we have up here. Let's just copy all of these in here, but there's one other parameter that we can give it, and that's we pass in that list ID of the terms that we wanted to look at, term list.id, and we'll pretty print because I copied this in, I forgot to set the text content to this new custom text. So the terms have found shenanigans as one of our terms here, and we can take action on this text accordingly. So that's just text. We can also moderate on images. So I have a couple images here, and actually I got them from Unsplash, so let's go to each one of them so you can see what they look like. This is just an image of a family looking at a sunset, and this next one is a lady in a swimsuit, and this last one is a sign here called Kale Sucks, which I don't mind kale myself depending on how it's made. And then we have another one, a photo of Abraham Lincoln here. So we're going to use these photos into the content moderation service and see what we get. So like the text files, we're going to use with open, and we'll do family JPEG, read in the binary as family, and then we can call client.image moderation, and from there we can call a few things. What I'm going to do here is call evaluate file input. Now you can also evaluate in a file URL as well, but since I have the files, I'll do the file input, and we'll print out the result here. There you go. So we get a few things back here. First off, is image adult classified or is image racy classified? And racy is not exactly adult, but it's pretty close. It's getting close to it. Those are just straight Boolean values there. But if you want to get more granular in your applications, so you say, well, I want to be more strict on my adult classification than what the content moderation service says, so I can look at the score itself, and you see we have a low score for adult. And the same with the racy classification score is pretty low as well. But I see that compared to that swimsuit photo, it seems a little bit more racy to me. So swimsuit.jpg, swimsuit. Then we do the same thing here, client image moderation dot evaluate file input swimsuit, and we'll just print this out as well if I spell correctly. There we go. It's not classified as adult or racy, but if you look at the racy classification score, it went up a decent amount than what this family photo showed. So that's determining if the image is adult or racy. We can also use this image moderation to look at text within the image. So if you remember that sign that said kale sucks in it. So let's read it. Sign.jpg. Sign. And then what I'm going to do here is client image moderation, and I'm going to call OCR file input, so it's going to read the text from this image, rb.rg, and the first parameter actually is what language that you wanted to read into, and the second one is going to be the image stream. There we go. So if it reads kale sucks, so you can take that text and run it through the screen image through the screen text if you want to make sure that that text within the image complies to the rules based on your website or service. And then last, we had that picture of Abraham Lincoln. And what we can do here is that the image moderation service can also detect faces. So we can do client image moderation and find faces file input, and then I'll print that. There we go. So it finds one face and it gives kind of a bounding box to where that face is, so we can use that within our application if we need to. And then last thing that we can do with the content moderation service is that we can send something to kind of a queue where people can go into and manually review those items. I'm going to do a quick import here, UUID, which is a universally unique ID here. What we're going to be doing is using this content moderation dashboard here, and we have our team name, and we're going to need this name in here, and we have an image. I'm going to use that same image of Abraham Lincoln, the URL to it, and I'm going to create a review item. It's going to be a dictionary. First is going to be the type of image, and then the content is going to be the image URL. Then the content ID will be UUID, and we'll create a new ID, and we can give it a callback endpoint, and I'll just put in localhost colon instead of a comma, and then we can create our kind of a review collection. Here's a client.reviews, and then create reviews. Give it a couple of parameters. URL, content type is going to be application JSON. Set the team name equal to team. Yep. And then create review body. It's going to be a list, and we'll send that one review to it. There we go. And what we get back here is a list of those IDs. And what we can do is we can get the details of the review. So client.reviews.get review. Send in the team name and then the ID of the review. And we can print that. There we go. See, it's now pending. And it gives us a couple of IDs, and then if we go back to our dashboard and we refresh, so we have one image waiting for review. There we go. There's Abraham Lincoln. We can mark it as adult or racy. If it's not, we can just hit next and that passes it through the queue. There we go, and go back to our dashboard. See nothing in our queue, and our total reviews actually went up by 1. So if you want a human to double check certain items, you can put them in review and have them do that, go to this dashboard and review all the items. So that's using the content moderation service. There's one thing I want to do real quick is I want to go back to the computer vision sample that we did in a previous video. And in here, if you're already using this service, if you call it the analyze image method on here, you actually have, for content moderation, you have this adult property here. So we can see, we'll print this out, analyze.adult. This comes back as none, so the image didn't come back with any adult items on it. So that's just one thing. If you're already using the computer vision service and you want a small amount of content moderation, you can use that. But if you want more fine-grained moderation, you can use this content moderation service. Hope that gave a good overview of the content moderation service and some of the cool things that you can do with it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.